Hey guys, it's Julia from Zsquare Crafts. I recently had a viewer ask me why I made the decision to purchase my Silhouette machine over the Silhouette Cameo, and this is a video I've wanted to do for quite some time now because the Silhouette portrait for me was a complete game changer when it comes to card making. So I've wanted to make this video for quite a while. I wasn't sure if there would be interest, but it seems like there will be. So I'm just going to kind of tell you why I chose the Silhouette portrait specifically, and give you just kind of a little bit of background about my crafting experience so far, I guess. In case you aren't a regular follower of my YouTube channel or blog, I started card making about 2 years ago when I started crafting baby shower invitations for my sister. That was the first project that really got me started, and ever since then I just haven't been able to stop. So obviously in 2 years I've purchased quite a lot of supplies, but this Silhouette portrait machine is the #1 thing that got me completely hooked. I've actually only had my machine since April last year, so it is July 2015 right now, and I purchased this in April 2014. The reason why I chose the Silhouette brand at all was because the Silhouette Studio software is a free program, so anybody, even if you don't have a Silhouette machine, can purchase the software and use it on their computer, whether you're a Mac user or a PC user like me. The software is fairly easy to use. I don't have any other experience with any like graphic design like Photoshop or InDesign or anything like that. So there was a little bit of a learning curve to the software, but I've gotten the hang of it really easily. I personally still use the free version of the software. I have a few tricks how I use that to its full potential, and I do have a couple videos on my channel for a few Silhouette Studio quick tips and tricks, some of my like most used tricks, including adding stitched borders and details to whatever you cut. But basically this is the Silhouette portrait machine. Silhouette recently announced that they have a whole bunch of new machines coming out, but when I purchased this, it was basically just a decision between this portrait machine and their larger version, which is called the Cameo. So the difference is entirely in size. This Silhouette portrait machine, and I'll open it up so you can see the inside, this Silhouette machine cuts an 8-inch piece of paper. It can be anywhere, I think, up into 6 feet long, but the maximum width is 8 inches. I am a card maker. I don't do any scrapbooking, so virtually all of my supplies are 8.5 by 11 cardstock or papers or less. Like I have tons of 6x6 paper pads, and of course those fit perfectly into the machine. The way you use the machine is you create or download a design in the Silhouette Studio, and then you basically hit print as if it were your printer, and then this machine does all the jazz. There's a blade here, and I'll just take it out to show you. You set this blade depending on the thickness of the material that you're using. So for all of my like heavyweight 110-pound cardstocks, I set it to 7, and there's a setting in the program to tell it what kind of paper you're using. And then I use, I think, setting 4 when I'm doing just like heavier weight pattern papers, that kind of thing. So as I said, I'm a card maker, which means that virtually none of my supplies are larger than the scale of the machine. That is really the #1 reason why I purchased this machine, is that it is able to do absolutely everything that I would ever want it to do and more. If you are a scrapbooker, a lot of your materials and layouts are probably on 12 by 12 pages. So if you're looking to cut much larger or wider papers than the 8 inches, then the portrait machine might not be ideal for you. The other major deciding factor was the difference in price point. Like I said, I've only been at this for a couple years, and I checked the prices just so that I could give you the accurate information as of today. I'm in Canada, so this is from the Silhouette America website, but you choose the country you're in. So in Canada, from the Silhouette store, you can get a portrait for $179.99 or the Cameo for $299.99. So there's like a pretty big difference in price, especially if you're like me and you're starting out and there's lots of supplies and tools that you want. You can't kind of blow your whole budget on one item. So that was another deciding factor for why I chose the portrait over the Cameo. I use this machine, I would say with probably 75% of my projects. I've become pretty proficient with the software, so it is really, really easy for me to go and cut a stitched front panel, or last week I did a card at Birthday Owl Shaker and I cut that on my Silhouette portrait, and I still cut a little stitch circle in the center for the shaker part, and I did a stitch border around the edge. Also, if you are comfortable in the program, which it's really easy to do, you can basically download any free clip art, trace that clip art, and then send it to your machine. The Cricut machines, just as a word of warning, I almost purchased one because they have a really awesome subscription service where you can basically like use any of their designs from their store. So like, if you wanted to cut a pineapple shape, for instance, you could download that for free while you have your subscription and cut it for free using the Cricut machine, but you don't own those images and you can't just import a clip art and trace it. So that was the software limitations of the Cricut machine is the reason I did not go that route. The Brothers Scan and Cut is a machine that I would be curious about today, but when I purchased this machine, I wasn't aware of it. So that's really why I decided on Silhouette over Cricut and why I chose this specific machine. It's super easy to use. You basically just plug it into your computer and let the software do the rest. The way that you cut is that you load a cutting mat, and this is a very, very well used cutting mat. You basically put your paper onto this. It's a very sticky surface, and then when you have the machine plugged in, which I don't right now, you press this load button, it feeds into the machine, and then you hit the cut button on your computer, and then you peel off whatever you cut out. They also have a whole bunch of different like substrates that you can use, so vinyls, they have stencil material, they have just all kinds of different things that you can cut, even still using your Silhouette portrait machine, because the maximum width is 8 inches, but I'm pretty sure you can cut a length of up to 6 feet. So like you can purchase the vinyl and then do like a card decal, that sort of thing. There's no reason to have the Cameo for that. The other thing that I understand about the machines, and I am not a Silhouette representative, I don't know for sure that this is the case, but I believe it to be true, is that the mechanical part of basically the mechanical guts of the machines are essentially identical except for the width in both the portrait and the Cameo. So for the huge difference in price points, I just could not justify the larger machine, and I'm so glad I didn't, because this one is super compact. I have absolutely, in the whole year and so that I've had this machine, I've never wished that I had a larger one, because I've never needed to cut a material that was wider than 8 inches. And so I think that this machine is just the most amazing investment that I've made in my crafting hobby ever since I've gotten started. I do recommend Silhouette's. I don't know if they recently came out with this or if it just recently became available to me, but they are now doing these light hold mats, and I love these. I like these way better than the original mat because they're thicker, so it's kind of sturdier. It seems to last longer. But also, when you first start a regular mat, it's really, really sticky. You can't use any thin papers on it because it tears. So what I would normally end up doing is putting a piece of wax paper over top, rubbing it, and then removing it so that the adhesive wouldn't be quite as sticky. But that takes away quite a bit of the life of the machine. With this light hold mat, you don't need to do that, and I've been using this one for quite a long time, and like way longer than I've ever been able to use my mats before, and I would definitely recommend a light hold mat versus the standard regular one. But like I said, I kind of figured out how to use it anyways, and it worked out fine. And you do get a regular mat in the box when you purchase your machine. So I hope that that answers some of the questions that you might have about the Silhouette portrait, why I chose this specific machine. Basically, it all boils down to the fact that I'm a card maker, so I never need any material that's wider than this machine will allow. I absolutely would recommend anyone to purchase this. I personally own very few steel or physical dies. I do virtually all of my cutting using this machine. So thank you so much for tuning into this. I hope that you enjoyed listening to me babble about my machine, and that if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments below, or if you head over to my blog, I do have a contact me page. If you'd prefer to just kind of message me privately, you can absolutely do that there. Thanks so much, guys. Bye.